Welcome to the second Swiss Text Analytics Conference. I'm very proud and honored to be here in front of you in the conference chair. And I'm very nervous, so sorry if I don't speak in full sentences in the first 5 minutes. I will warm up at some time and become better, hopefully. Otherwise, you have to tell me. I thought to start with, I give you a brief introduction what Swiss Text is, because not everybody was here last year. Last year, exactly 1 year ago, I was standing in the exact same place here, looking at different people, but with the same topic, text analytics, and I think the same dress, basically. And that was the first time we did it. So we said we want to gather people from industry and academia to come together to talk about text analytics, to see what is happening in Switzerland, but also in research worldwide, and get an overview, and also to bring them together and find ideas for cool projects. This is my idea, so this is why many people are here. They want to sell a product, or they want to buy something, they want to have ideas, or they want to have a CTI project together, or whatever. And this is the whole day about, to bring you together, to get your information, but also that you connect to other people. So hopefully at the end of the day you will learn some more names of people you want to work with to get some contacts. When I prepared the slides yesterday evening and today in the morning, I was sitting in the room next until 20 minutes ago, and I thought, how does it feel to organize this conference? And it feels like this. This is a picture from last year, and it was really like, I saw it and I thought, well, this is really how it feels. It's like a black hole. It tracks every energy that I had for the last weeks. And Fernando, his course organizer, can you stand up for a second? He's the co-organizer, and he probably has the same feeling. Okay. And so we are very proud that we worked it out somehow, that it got here. We already found something that didn't work. That is your name tags. If you recognize that there is printed very nice in colors, that you are from a large company or academia, but not from which company. This was not on purpose. It's not anonymity. It was just we forgot to print it. So if you want to take out a pen and write down the company name, that would be great. But apart from that, I'm glad to have you here, and I put another picture. It's more like I feel now, hopefully. Look. I really like it, and it really is like, okay, it starts. Now everything is working, people are outside getting food and stuff prepared for today's lunch and stuff. So, having said that, I look at the cards because I don't want to miss anything important. Last year, first time, and we waited, I think, 4 weeks for the first participant to register. And this was a bad feeling. So we sent out an email and said, oh, you can register, great conference, and nothing happened for 4 weeks. And then after 4 weeks, one of my students from the master studies registered. Rachel, I don't see you. And so I said, oh, that's cool. I will have to give him a present. And someone was there last year, and he said, oh, Mark doesn't have to feel that again. So when we sent it out this year, the first registration was after 4 minutes. And it was really like I pushed the button and I got a reply, there is a registration. I said, wow, that's cool. The next registration, Rachel, that was you, 3 days later, so you have to be faster next time. So, and I said, this is like a gold record. And Tuan, where are you? You were really the fastest. I've never seen something like that. So, thank you for registering that fast. So if you want to have the chocolate next year, you know what you have to do. So, now this is Tuan Severance. And now you know one guy of the conference at least. You can always talk to him and say, oh, you were fast. But I think I want to tell you a little bit about you, yourself. Where do you come from? What are you? And so, first of all, where do you come from? This is a red second. No, it is not. So this is basically what we expected. This is great. This is Seattle. And this is somewhere southern India. The two from the most distant, where are you? Are you really here?
From Seattle.
From Seattle. And southern India? Okay. Where is it? Oh! Great. So, really worldwide conference. Thanks for being here. Apart from that, well, we invited someone from Great Britain who couldn't refuse. And apart from that, most of you are basically from Switzerland. So, yeah. But last year we were like a bubble here, and then one or two from the rest of Switzerland. So it evolved a little bit. Now it's more like a Swiss conference. It feels more like a Swiss conference. Where do you work? We ask you where you work, and the distribution is quite good. We have research institutions, 1/3, large companies, and SMEs, small companies. And then we have, I think, one guy from government, two from NGO, and then some students who didn't know what to put as a company. In total, we have more participants than last year, 10 more, and it's okay, it's an increase. And we grew in general, so we have more talks, more technical talks. We will have more space, which is one thing that people claimed about last year, so we will have an additional space for the poster session outside. We have more time, because we started earlier, so it's growing. These are the research institutions that we have here today, and it's basically a coverage of most of the research institutions in Switzerland. I think if you look at it, it's a good collection, 20 research institutions. On the other hand, we have a lot of companies here, and we tried to put on your name tag the name of the company and if you're a company or not. I know that some of you are something like offering a service, and some of you are looking for services. So maybe those who are trying to sell their software can stand up for a moment. So you have to move in. Who is going to try to sell something? Honestly. And I think research are the same. I mean, researchers want to sell research projects. And now those who are looking for stuff, buying stuff, looking for solutions, can you stand up? Okay. And the others are basically interested in being here, looking around, seeing what happens, I guess. Right? Okay. Yeah. So, why are we here? We are interested in this text. Now, you don't have to read it. I mean, you can. It's an interesting text about teaching, but you don't have to. What can we do with this text? If we really analyze it, we can do various things. We can try to classify it, find out, is it a positive or negative text, sentiment analysis, or is it an objective text, is it nice text, is it interesting for the reader, is it spam or not, whatever you want to know about text. We can search for text. Google is very famous in that. Searching for the proper text for my query. We can try to extract named entities, so which names, which companies, which locations are mentioned in the text, and then try to find out the distribution over a set of text. These are standard applications. We can try to translate it to different languages, which works pretty good. A couple of weeks ago, we made a demonstration where we talked and made an instant translation to another language. we can try to extract the topics that are in the text. So which are the main key phrases, which are the topics that are mentioned to get an overview, what is the text about. And then, on the other hand, there are some applications. You can ask questions about the text, and IBM Watson is one of the famous tools, which won this game show for question answering. We can talk, well, not really about text. This is something like we can talk about with a chatbot, and it produces text. Or we can try to generate summaries of the text. So these are some applications to give you an idea what text analytics is about. There's a couple of names for that: natural language processing, text analytics, text mining, but basically it all converts to the same applications. So how does it work? Well, quite simple. You have text, you have a couple of algorithms, you extract information you're interested in, and then hopefully you can do something with it which gives you value, which has value to your customer or to yourself. For the text, well, you have various sources like medical text, legal text, news, social media, whatever you take. You can have company reports and try to extract information. Then you usually do something like a pre-processing step, which means you detect which language it is written in, you try to split the sentences from each other, you do some tokenization, which is classical NLP, and then you try to eliminate irrelevant words, and afterwards maybe do some syntactic parsing. And then you have an idea of the syntactic structure of the text, but nothing of the content. And the content comes in the center part, which is the algorithms. And there are three types of algorithms. And we will see a lot of talks on the different types. So there's the classical rule-based approach where you try to model the grammar of a text and then try to extract information from that. Then the new modern feature-based approach with machine learning where you have large corpus of text and you engineer handcrafted features that describe the text and then throw it into some machine learning algorithm. And then, since 3 or 4 years ago, for text analytics, you have this deep learning, this hype of we don't do any feature engineering anymore. We let the computer find its own features and understand the text. Okay, so I think the technical details will come later when the talks come. But then the question is, and this is what I thought I try to explain a little bit from our experience of text analytics projects. What do you have to consider if you want to start a text analytics project? And we figured out 4 questions that you have to take into account before starting a project. The first one is, are you looking at the right data? So, given you have some task, you want to do sentiment analysis, are you really looking at the right data? And, well, first of all, make sure you get the proper documents. We had a project where we want to analyze news about companies, and the main problem was not extracting information from the news text, but assigning the proper companies to the news. So if we search for Apple, we don't find only news about the company, but also about fruits and also about the Beatles label. And disambiguation for company names is one of the large issues. If you want to tackle the problem, you have to be sure that it is really the news that you are talking about. Then, if you have the text, or you want to get rid of all the clutter that you are not interested in. So this is CNN, and basically the red one here is the text we are interested in. All the text around, which gives you information also, is not the main text, so you need to extract the main content of the document. Otherwise, you may do some information extraction on the wrong type of text, which are not considered. And then you need to take into account that text is not used always the same all over the world. 2 years ago, we made a shared task here at the Swiss Data Science Conference, where we wanted to have Swiss tweets. Now Swiss tweets is quite easy, they have geolocation, and what we did was we put a rectangle around Switzerland, something like that, and we got tons of tweets. Surprisingly, most of them in Italian, because of Milan here downstairs, and nothing from Switzerland. Because Twitter in Switzerland, who tweets? Who uses Twitter? 1, 2, 3, oh, small. I asked the same question last week in my class, or 3 weeks ago, and among 20 people it was no one. So, very interesting class. The class was 2 hours about Twitter. Nobody used it. Okay, so be sure, I mean, if you do it in Europe, you can do it probably very well in the United Kingdom and in Great Britain, in the Netherlands, down there in Spain. But for Germany, for German text, Twitter is not so relevant. Yes, at least consider it that you don't get enough information from it. It's not representative for it. And then, finally, if you want to do something like machine learning, do it on the proper domain. If you train your model on Twitter because it's so easy to get Twitter data, and you try to use it then on news or online blogs or whatever other document type you have, it will not work. We did some experiments, and for sentiment analysis, for example, there is a drop if you take the wrong domain from, say, 58% F1 score to 16% F1 score. So from, oh, this is a reasonably good tool, 58, 60% to 16%, which is far below random assignment of sentiment classes. So if you take the wrong domain, if you take the wrong data, forget about your solution. Second question. Something that is interesting for all the researchers among you. Is your gold standard really golden? Is it really a ground truth, in the meaning that it is true? This is a tweet, and I think we can vote whether this tweet is positive or negative. Who thinks this tweet is positive? Who thinks this tweet is negative? 1. Okay. Who thinks it is neutral? 1 or 2. Okay. Yes, that's true. That's a distribution that we got in an experiment with about 70 people. So most of them think, well, it's positive. And it's probably positive because it's pretty good in there. First time will be going back. No reason to think it's negative, unless it is ironic. Okay, but assuming that it's not. That's cool. Okay, yeah, that's cool. So, what about the next one? You don't have to vote. Well, many people think it's positive, but then 12% say it's negative. Ooh, okay, this is my ground truth. So, majority vote. I say it's positive, but at least 1/3 of the population doesn't say it's positive. This is my ground truth. And how about that one? Definitely it must be neutral, right? Because it's majority. This is how we construct our ground truth. We ask a couple of people to make a label, and then we take the majority and say, now, this is a neutral tweet. We forget all about the other votes. Not sure. And then we have people who are doing the labeling. And they are doing the labeling, sitting in front of a computer, labeling for 10 hours a day tweets. Positive, positive, negative, negative, positive, negative. Cool job. They get money for that. And here is shown an experiment with 1.6 million tweets, hand-labeled, and how good the agreement of the annotators is. So they measured how much the annotator agrees with himself. So they gave him the same tweet afterwards again, and then asked, oh, can you tell us the agreement with yourself? And for some languages, we have good annotators. So in 80% they agreed with themselves on the same tweet. Good. And for some languages, they had annotators that agreed on about 25% of the tweets. Gold standard. Not really. Okay, I have to hurry a little bit because we started late. Do we really need deep learning? Deep learning, huge hype. Yes, everybody needs deep learning. Deep learning solves every problem. Not really. Sentiment analysis, yes. The best tool that exists uses deep learning and beats every feature engineering system at the moment. Sure. And entry recognition? No. Definitely not. The best tool that it is a conditional random field with features, hand engineered, and it beats the best tool with deep learning by 6 percentage points at one speed. So 52 to 58%. No deep learning. Chatbots. We will have a talk afterwards. I would say yes and no. There are some chatbots which are pretty good with sequence-to-sequence learning, but most of the chatbots today use rules, handcrafted rules, and they work pretty good. Some of them. Some of them don't. Last question. Is there any chance that you can meet the expectations of the project? Cool question, huh? We do a lot of expectation management. So if someone comes to us and says, oh, I want to have a categorization for my document. We have 20,000 categories, and we can give you per category, say, 1 to 3 documents. We had this request, honestly. Oh, you cannot do that. But we talked with another unit. They can do it. And they said, okay, good, do it. And then they ask for scores. And scores are pretty difficult. If you do name entry recognition, yes, you can do it pretty good. It's kind of a solved problem. This is almost like human performance. Sentiment analysis, 60%. 4 out of 10 documents are wrong. Okay? Doesn't feel so good if you look at single documents. And then you have something like machine translation, stuff like that. Named entry recognition for French is there because in English you have capitalization. A named entity is usually something with a capital letter at the beginning. Quite simple. Triple feature. Okay. Last example. Chatbots. Google's chatbot artificial intelligence has some interesting ideas about morality, philosophy, and the meaning of life. This was written 2 years ago when Google published a paper, and they made some examples of answers of their chatbot for questions like, what is the purpose of life? To serve the greater good. What is the purpose of existence? To find out what happens when we get to planet Earth. Cool answers, and they were generated by the computer. Now, if someone reads this headline and takes this as examples and comes to us and says, we want to have a chatbot, they are expecting something like that. They are not expecting something like what we show outside, the rule-based system where you can ask who is the director of the matrix and it gives you a name. This is not what they are expecting. So you have to do some expectation management and say, well, no, not really. There is a misunderstanding between reality and... Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this is already a good transition to the next talk. But you have some seconds. I will make some announcements about organization. Okay? So first of all, program. We are a little bit late, but we started late, so to be fair, I had my half. Now there is a keynote by Verena, and afterwards there will be a break, and then we have parallel tracks. The parallel tracks will be there, and in the next room. Okay? 3 tracks. Track 1 is there, track 2 is here, and then the business track is in the next room. Okay? I will have to start. Then there is a lunch break, and after lunch break we start again at 1 p.m. Please be here in time, because otherwise you can. Okay, in the parallel tracks, it will be possible to change between the talks. If you run, we have 2 minutes for changing the room. Okay? So first of all, the session chairs, please be more insisting than Fernando right now with me and make them stop in time. Okay, we start in time, exactly 10:40, and we stop after 18 minutes, and then 2 minutes for changing the room. We really have to run. Sorry, no way to do it otherwise we have to skip one talk. Okay. That's that. Then, of course, you have to see our partners once again. We can do that later. But then we will have a presentation award. So we will select the best presentation. There is a feedback form for the morning and one for the afternoon. So once the sessions are over, you can just go and enter your feedback for the presentations. And at the end, in the afternoon, we will have an award for the best presentation. Okay. Some things to know. There is a wireless access, and the keys are on the walls outside, and we will put some here up as well in the break. Then, as you see, we are taking a movie. If one of the speakers doesn't want to have his talk recorded, please tell us before. And if you don't want to be heard on the movie, please don't speak. We cannot cut you out afterwards, it's too hard, okay? As I said, you have to be in time. I don't have to because nobody can stop me. Then there is, if you need to go to the toilet, it's over there at the exit downstairs. It feels a little bit like going to the cellar, and it is like that. So don't hesitate to go downstairs. Okay, so this is once again the floor plan. I mixed it up, so track 2 over there, track 1, and business track. And in the afternoon, it's chatbots over there, track 2, track 3, and again the business track. Okay, if you have any further questions, these are the people that can help you. Floris is not here at the moment. Bettina is outside at the reception desk. Marcin is not here at the moment, and Fernando is sitting over there. So they can help you if you have any questions. And now we switch to you. So you can set up your computer and then make the introduction. Verena Rieser is professor, and since 1 week, full professor at the Cieliebak University. And I'm very proud to have her here.